to the episode of the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your favorite wrestling fan here. Hopefully you guys had an amazing Tuesday. Hope you guys had an amazing Wednesday. It is the midweek, as my mother liked to call it before she passed. It is hump day. Don't get too, no, not that, don't get too crazy. It's like, midway through the week, you're kind of getting over the hump there, and you're, kind of glidely, smoothly going downhill on Thursday and Friday and headed into the weekend. So definitely can't wait for the weekend to show up. But as of right now, we still have some amazing wrestling to talk about, especially tonight. We have AEW Dynamite. On tomorrow, we have Ring of Honor TNA, and on Friday, of course, Friday Night SmackDown. So we got some good old-fashioned wrestling to kind of get us through the week here, so don't seem too somber. We're all going to get through it, and guess what? Sooner or later, we're going to wind up with a cold drink in our hands, talking to our friends and our family, gathered around the barbecue, hanging out on some beautiful Saturday or Sunday night. Whenever you guys like to hang out. A lot of work schedules, especially nowadays, it's a little bit different. So, however you guys like to have that, find that peace within yourself. However you guys kind of have that, that little bit of me time. We're here to kind of help you guys through it. Thank you so much for tuning in to the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. Today we have a great show for you all lined up. We have our WWE Monday Night RAW review. We're going to have our WWE NXT review as well. We have AEW Dynamite talk. We also have Drew McIntyre return to WWE Monday Night RAW. We're going to talk about future storylines, maybe, some potential bookings, maybe, just basically everything surrounding what Drew could actually do and, how it could affect the Monday Night RAW roster. In our fifth and final segment, I have 7 stars. No, not 7 stars. I have around 7 stars. I have 7 wrestling stars that are bound to sign with WWE. It's all gravy. It's all good in the neighborhood. We're going to get into it. But before we get into any of that, I just want to remind you guys to go ahead and hit up that, super chat, whether if we got a burning question or hot take in terms of the world of professional wrestling. Here at the GSMC Sports Network, we want you guys to feel like you guys are absolutely open to get whatever you feel like is off your chest. Don't be shy. Don't be shy. Don't be shy. Do not be shy. Just want to make sure you guys have a good time listening to this podcast, So, of course, you guys having fun listening to it, which means I will have amazing, fun time doing it. So we can make sure, we can get that covered. And if you really want to make sure your comment, question, or concern gets noticed on air, why not use that tips and donations link? Or go ahead and hit up that $sign right there next to that chat box, which guarantees anything you guys put inside that chat box is going to be featured on this show, debated about if it's that juicy. So it's a great way to kind of, support the channel, support the GSMC Sports Network. We do love a lot of peace, love, and positivity. Don't forget to Superman punch the like or subscribe button to the show so you guys can get notifications whenever we go live. You can hear your favorite wrestling fan, Eric Rodriguez here, of course, this guy. You can hear whenever we go live. We are super grateful for each and every one of you guys who joins us here daily on the GSMC Sports Network. Your support makes all the difference. So, let's get this party started. Send in those super chats and those super stickers because you guys are super awesome. And together we will make sure this podcast is, bigger, better, and stronger than ever. Once again, a super chat, not your thing. It's all good in the neighborhood. Make sure you guys hit up the tips and donations link at the GSMCpodcast.net. Tell me what you like, tell me what you don't like. Like I said, Superman punch that like and subscribe button to the show. Follow the show, follow the network here at the GSMC Sports Network. We do love a lot of peace, love, and positivity, 1,010%. But of course, in terms of talking sports, it's inevitable. Some disagreements are going to happen, some criticisms, especially talking about professional wrestling. Some criticisms are going to come into the matter. It does not matter. We just want you guys to feel absolutely 1,010% open to talk about whatever you guys have to talk about. Send in your future storyline. Send in, heck, maybe give me your top 5 WWE champions, your top 5 WCW champions. We talk about wrestling then, now, forever. We talk about everything in terms of wrestling. So make sure you guys, hit up those, the tips and donations link. Hit up that super chat. Just tell me what you guys have to feel inside that chat box, and we can have a great show. All right, so without further ado, we're going to jump on into our first segment. We got some WWE Monday Night RAW. So we kicked off with some CM Punk, and I love it when CM Punk comes out because it seems like everything is just, like anything is possible. Anything is absolutely possible, 1,010%. He's right now on the verge of looking forward to a WrestleMania. He said he even has a couple of favors in his back pocket to help him kind of get there. He talked about the Royal Rumble. He talked about the Elimination Chamber. And, he's looking for a new direction. Of course, when he was starting to kind of get into the teeth of exactly what he wanted to talk about, then you heard Seth freaking Rollins come out. And it was, I like Seth Rollins. And I know him and Seth Rollins have an ongoing feud. I personally thought it was going to go absolutely, ape crap today. But, Monday, should I say. But, it kind of mellowed out, and obviously they're saving it. They're saving it for, I think, WrestleMania. I feel like some way, somehow, maybe you might find Seth in a world title shot, but especially after what happened on Monday Night Raw, I'm not too sure if he's going to be the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. I got to be honest. I had some reflecting to kind of think about, and I was like, you know what? I don't think he's going to be the champion come WrestleMania. It really doesn't seem like it would make, perfect sense for him to do so, because, CM Punk, he's due for that WrestleMania moment. He's due for that. He never really got it. That's the reason why he kind of left WWE to begin with. He thought, creative writing was kind of shoddy, so he was like, you know what, it's kind of BS that I have to take on, Triple H at a WrestleMania as opposed to, because I'm the best of the world, I should be fighting for the championship. I should be main eventing WrestleMania, and he never really got that. So, obviously there was, rumors and speculation stating that if he didn't get injured during the match with that Future Shock DDT by Drew McIntyre, that he would have won the Royal Rumble. Then this whole, Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns, Cody finishing his story, would have been different. It would have been different. And you can kind of tell that it was kind of heading toward that way. But, all in all, I feel like CM Punk is, he's going to wind up fighting in WrestleMania. Against who? I'm not too sure. Right now, during his promo, he kind of said that, I have no reason to fight you. I wanted to fight you before because you had something to give, but right now you kind of have nothing. So, obviously that sent, Rollins over the edge, and then they end up fighting each other. Sammy and Jey Uso come out to break out the fight, and then just kind of hell broke loose. Seth Rollins started saying some stuff he didn't really mean. He was talking about Jey Uso and how it's his family, and how go out and protect Roman, and of course, and he was like, you know what, that was out of line, my bad. But Sammy, what's your excuse? Why are you doing these things for Roman Reigns? You're not family. He made a prime example out of use, of people that, decide to join my clan. Guess what? If I don't like you or if I don't accept you, we're going to find a way to kind of embarrass you. We're going to find a way for you to kind of go back down to the totem pole. We're going to kick your ass. And, Sami Zayn, he's forgiven Roman Reigns. And right now Roman Reigns is, he hasn't really apologized, to Seth's argument. He doesn't really... he has not yet ultimately kind of repaired those burned bridges that he made when he was the tribal chief. So, it's still kind of up in the air right there. That's the reason why, people like Kevin Owens are doing these things, especially to Cody Rhodes, who is a beloved babyface. And that's the reason why the WWE Universe is like, you know what? You can't really hold him too accountable here. He kind of has a legitimate excuse of the actions that he's actually doing. Much like you saw what happened tonight with Seth freaking Rollins. But, I don't know, it's, it's kind of crazy. And, it's, God. And then he brought up Seth Rollins stabbing Roman Reigns in the back, saying that, overall, we might have created him, but you're the one who ultimately created him, after he, just shoved the chair shot in his back, of course, disbanding the Shield back in 2015, I'm not too sure, don't quote me on that. But, I don't know, he said, you created that monster, and it was, it was actually kind of, it was pretty intense. It was pretty damn intense. It was an awesome episode of Monday Night Raw. Definitely a must see. All right, we have Damage Control taking on Raquel Rodriguez and Liv Morgan. Obviously, you saw Raquel and Liv Morgan, become victorious. Obviously, singling out and kind of isolating Kairi Sane in that match. And then at the end of the match, they started beating up on him. Of course, then you saw Rhea Ripley come out, and then that was that. And then in the back, you saw a promo between Finn Balor and the WWE World Heavyweight Champion Gunther. Finn Balor basically telling Gunther, like, hey, man, you should be shaking my hands instead of you kicking me in the face. That's something that I did kind of notice at WWE Survivor Series. I was like, you know what? Finn is so content with, like, he helped out Gunther twice. And then Gunther was trying to boot him out of the way, kicked him in the freaking face, and was kind of like, hey, I don't need you. So Finn Balor right now, and this is a position for Finn Balor that I never really kind of wanted to see him in. But, it is what it is. As of right now, he's kind of, he wants to fight Gunther. Obviously, he did get his wish by WWE Raw general manager Adam Pearce, so he ended up getting what he, ultimately what he wanted for. Gunther told him that I never asked for your help. I never needed you to win. I needed this match to ultimately prove it to myself that I could defeat somebody like Damian Priest. Once again, kind of, because, he defeated Damian Priest twice. Once for the World Heavyweight Championship, and the second time, defending it, giving them the rematch. Never really winning cleanly, and I feel like that's ultimately going to be Damian Priest's way to kind of defeat Gunther. They're kind of ultimately setting up this, this match with Damian Priest and Gunther for the future. But now Damian Priest, he's got to start from the bottom. There's no way he has another title shot in his grasp. Maybe at WWE Saturday Night's main event happening December 21st. Maybe, you can see, Damian Priest getting involved. Maybe you can see a triple threat match between Finn and Damian and Gunther for that World Heavyweight Championship heading toward, the new pay-per-view. But, right now it seems like Damian Priest becoming a world champion, it just seems like it's kind of on the back burner. Not really in the minds of WWE fans or wrestling fans, which kind of sucks. I feel for Damian Priest there. Dakota Kai defeats Shayna Baszler and Katana Chance in the WWE Women's Intercontinental Championship tournament, the first round. The New Day celebration. The New Day celebration was absolutely... Man, it was crazy. It was pretty damn crazy. Obviously, a lot to unfold here, but ultimately, Big E returned. He came out, wanted the best of his brothers. He even addressed how Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods have been, kind of dogging each other, saying anything to make themselves feel kind of like crap. Big E was willing to come back and be their manager, and quite frankly, I feel like Woods and Kingston were kind of already on this, new warpath. Kingston, he embraced the New Day style. Obviously, never really came in fruition. Xavier Woods kind of wanted to jump into a new direction for the group, which I feel like is going to be good for them. But they kicked Biggie out. They rubbed him out, they said, Kofi Kingston straight up said, you left us. You broke your neck, so what? Like, as if that's like... And he talked about Stone Cold Steve Austin coming back, and he talked about Edge, Adam Copeland coming back from a broken neck as well. That's another thing as well that a lot of fans probably have not really taken consideration. Why hasn't Big E came back just to be like a manager? Obviously, Big E's building up toward an in-ring, return. Even Xavier Woods said it himself. He's like, you know what? I don't think you are ever going to be cleared to be able to compete in a WWE ring again. So why all of a sudden now? And I feel like that's the reason why WWE fans are kind of like, you know what? You can't be too mad at them. Obviously... kind of comparing a broken neck to like a broken toe where you just kind of come back from injury and just fight week after week after week, and then all of a sudden it's supposed to be all good in the neighborhood. But a neck injury is different. Like one simple, botched move could turn you into a paraplegic, could leave you paralyzed, could sometimes it could even actually be fatal. So, obviously kind of building up that point with the WWE storyline. I definitely liked it. Now, you had Big E screaming, you had him pleading to Kofi and Xavier saying that we can fix this. And, Kofi turns to Xavier Woods, kicking Big E out, being like, hey, it's just us, bro. It's just us, bro. So we're going to have some pretty interesting things heading up to the future. Lastly, we have Gunther, of course, defeating Dominic Mysterio. Finn Balor comes out and attacks, telling Dominic Mysterio, hey, that's how it's done, kid. That's how it's done. Dude, calm down, dude. Calm down. All right, guys, so hey, do not go anywhere. We're going to jump on into our second segment. We got some WWE NXT review. Obviously, an amazing episode that happened on Tuesday. We're going to get into that when we come back. So grab your favorite snack, grab your favorite ice cold beverage. Join me here in about 25 seconds. So hey, do not go anywhere.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign.
I wanna be the greatest. Everybody on the fake shit. I look around and feel like everybody is the fakest. I make this every day and I'm impatient, hoping one day I blow up from the basement. Statement, the top is so vacant. I don't hear shit that I think is amazing. Waiting for my day when I'm playing sold out shows for 1,000 faces. Hey, give me that crown, get in my way and to be put down. It ain't your place, all this my town. If I want that shit, then I'll get it right now. I'm losing it, the noose it fits. I'm losing shit, a stupid myth. You choose to live or choose to dip. You choose to fight or lose your grip and lose a gift.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind?
Alright, we're back with the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your favorite wrestling fan here every Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Pacific Time, 11 p.m. Eastern Time. Here to talk about the greatest thing in the world, professional wrestling. We talk about all the action inside and outside of the ring, backstage, curtain calls, rumors, dramas, and updates. We talk about, inactive statuses, injury updates as well. We talk about wrestling, contract negotiations, extensions, and new signings from promotions like WWE, from promotions like Ring of Honor, TNA, Stardom, New Japan Professional Wrestling, GCW, the NWA. For mixed major news in the world of professional wrestling, we talk about it here on this show, 1010%. All right, to kind of reflect on what we talked about right quick, we had our WWE Monday Night Raw review, and now we're going to get into some WWE NXT. But before we get into that, I just want to remind you guys to go ahead and hit up that super chat right there, whether if you got a burning question or a hot take in terms of the world of professional wrestling. Here at the GSMC Sports Network, we want you guys to feel absolutely open 1,010%. Something you've been dying to share, something you've been dying to get off your chest. Here at the GSMC Sports Network, we are all ears 1,010%. So make sure you guys, don't be shy to drop your thoughts inside that chat. And if you really want to make sure your comment, question, or concern gets noticed on air, go ahead and type whatever you guys have to feel inside that box. Smash that money sign right there. Whatever you guys put inside that box is going to be guaranteed to be featured on the show, talked about, maybe even debated about. If it's something that juicy, obviously. Just kidding. No, but if it's just something really cool, we could talk about it. Any terms of professional wrestling, it's all gravy. It's all water under the bridge. It's going to be absolutely amazing. So do not be self-conscious. Do not be shy. Anything you guys put inside there is going to be the smartest freaking thing in the world, so don't worry about it. Obviously, these super chats helps us, keep the lights on these amazing podcasts, of these amazing podcasters who have one goal in mind, to make sure that you guys are fully satisfied, to make sure that you guys are consuming all the content that you guys love so damn much, from football, baseball, hockey, basketball, to the to professional wrestling. We talk about it here, to soccer. It doesn't really matter. We are passionate about sports. That's something we all have in common 1,010%. So we are a family. We are a sports family. The moment you meet a sports fan, you absolutely start vibing. And why not vibe together? Why not send some love to the GSMC Sports Network? Like and subscribe to that show so you guys could also, you guys can get some notifications whenever we all go live. We are super grateful for each and every one of you guys who joins us here daily on the GSMC Sports Network. So, make sure you guys, keep that support coming. So let's keep the conversation going. Let's keep this party, let's keep this party rolling and send in those super chats, those super stickers, because you guys are super awesome. And together we will make sure this podcast is, bigger, better, and stronger than ever. Once again, it's super chat, not your thing. It's all good in the neighborhood. It's all gravy, baby. Don't even worry about it. Hit up that tips and donations link at the GSMCpodcast.net. Tell me what you like, tell me what you don't like. Just remember to Superman punch that like and subscribe button to the show. Follow the show, follow the network here at the GSMC Sports Network. We do love a lot of peace, love, and positivity. But of course, in terms of talking sports, it's inevitable. There's going to be some criticisms. There's going to be some disagreements, and it's all good. Don't even worry about it. It's all gravy. Don't even worry about it. Do not be shy. Drop your thoughts inside that chat. We just want to make sure you guys feel absolutely open to tell us what you guys have to feel. There are all no wrong answers. Give me your shout out of where you're listening from. Give me your top 5 favorite wrestlers. Basically, just let's have a good time. Let's have a good time. All right, without further ado, let's jump on into some WWE NXT. First and foremost, we're going to start off with our Women's Last Chance Fatal 4-Way match. We have Jada Parker, Ren Sinclair of the No Quarter Catch Crew, Kaylani Jordynne, and Cora Jade. Something about this match that I, kind of want to highlight, and it's kind of silly. Every participant in that match kind of solidified their character. You kind of had Jada Parker. Jada Parker is like, this unpredictable, powerhouse badass, and she showed it tonight. You had, Kaylani Jordynne as of this upbeat, a girl you want to take home to your grandmother to show off because she's so damn nice, but yet so charismatic. She showed that tonight. You also had Cora Jade, who came out, she comes out in these in this dark, in this heavy metal music kind of thing. She comes in looking to be like ruthless. But then again, sometimes it feels like, she can kind of sell herself short. And she came out just like that. And Ren Sinclair, I gotta be honest, she's so sweet. She's so sweet, and like whenever she comes out, whenever she has her promo backstage, you can't help but to root for her. You're kind of like, oh, it's Ren Sinclair, like, you know what I mean? And she showed that because a lot of fans were kind of getting behind her, and that's something that WWE NXT, that's something you ultimately want. You have that dog inside the race now, inside that Iron Survivor match happening at Deadline this Saturday. And like I said, ultimately it, kind of did its job. At the end of the match, you saw Lola Vice come out. Of course, Jada Parker, she called out Lola Vice, and then Lola Vice, gave her like a bam, a back spinning fist that knocked her out. That, that Ren Sinclair, fell back. I guess you can say her winning the match. She kind of fell into it. But ultimately, she did win the match, which is good for Ren Sinclair. I feel like she's been on the NXT roster for quite some time, and she deserves at least a spot. She deserves at least, to be kind of put inside this limelight that is, trying to find out who's going to be the number one contender. Obviously, the moment Ren Sinclair comes into the match, she's going to be an absolute favorite. Then, of course, the spotlight was kind of stolen by Jada Parker calling out Lola Vice. Ava, the general manager of WWE NXT, comes out and, basically said, not tonight. We're going to have an underground match happening at NXT Deadline between Lola Vice and Jada Parker. So we have something like that to look forward to, which should be pretty good. Should be pretty damn good. All right, next we had the Tag Team Battle Royal. We had teams like The Family. We have Luca Cristofino. We also had Stax Lorenzo. And then we had teams like, OTM. We had, Hank and Tank. We had, Briggs and Anamura. We had Tyson and Tyreek. We had Gallus. We had Heights, Tavion Heights, and, Miles Bourne, who ended up actually winning the match, which... I could kind of see why they did. I feel like right now you can have you have Frazier, you have Axiom. They seem at odds with each other, and this is like a storyline that's been literally like lingering ever since like Heatwave, like ever since over the summer. A lot of people thought, Frazier and Axiom were going to drop the titles to, other tag teams, and it never really happened. And then it got to the point where, they were kind of hinting at each other, kind of poking each other, poking the bear, so to speak, that they were going to break up. That never really happened, which ultimately brought them closer and, made them bigger, better, and stronger than ever. To defeat an amazing tag team like Zachary Wentz and Wes Lee, which I ultimately thought they were going to take over the tag team division on NXT, but that never really happened. So Nathan Frazier and Axiom right now, I really can't, I can't really put my finger on their tag team title run. I got to be honest. But these two individuals, Nathan Frazier and Axiom, are absolutely amazing together. These guys, it's like watching poetry in motion. It's like watching a new, a reincarnation of the Hardy Boys. These guys are literally, they keep you on the edge of your seat. They're, whenever they win and they celebrate, they're amigos. They're great together. And I feel like this match heading toward NXT, deadline, I really don't see why you put the belts on Tibion Heights and Osborne. Of course, maybe to, eventually, kind of split up Axiom and Nathan Frazier. But as of right now, but the tag team division in NXT, I got to be honest, is kind of suffering. They are kind of suffering. Nathan Frazier could definitely compete for the NXT North American Championship. Axiom as well could be, fighting for a speed championship, or both of them could very much find themselves on WWE Monday Night Raw or SmackDown. But them together, oh my God, it's so great. It's like, it's a very delicate situation that's being handled by WWE backstage, the creative. It's like, all right, we can have these guys split up. We can have these guys lose the tag team titles, and we can try to promote, we can promote Gallus, we can promote OTM, we can promote maybe a new tag team with, Sean Spears and Brooks Jensen, or Shanti the Adonis, or, or OTM, Tyreek, there's so many other tag teams in NXT that you could ultimately kind of promote. But will it still kind of have that flair? And thinking about it right now, the tag team division on NXT, although it is very cutthroat, although it is very competitive, I really don't see why you take the titles off of Axiom and Nathan Frazier at this point. I really don't. I feel like they represent the tag team division very, very well. Their matches, like I said, keep you on the edge of your seat. That's something you don't want to lose. Absolutely. Especially during this new, NXT coming to the CW. They've only been on the CW cable television for about a month and a half, 2 months. So it's still, very much fresh NXT. But I don't know. It's, like I said, I just hope it goes into a good direction, Not hitting on the no quarter catch or anything like that, but, I know it should be pretty cool. Eric Bischoff returns to professional wrestling to mediate a conversation between Trick Williams and Rich Holland. I got to be honest, when I saw Eric Bischoff being announced to come back to WWE, to come back to professional wrestling, I gotta be honest. The last example, the last sample size that I had of Eric Bischoff was kind of what he did with Hulk Hogan in TNA. And I don't blame Eric for what happened with WCW. The storylines grew a little stale. I'm not blaming Bischoff for the downfall of WCW, although. According to reports and according to a lot of documentaries stating that, Eric Bischoff not wanting and giving specific superstars their own creative direction, ultimately kind of caused the demise. And it kind of, it's kind of funny how, you kind of see Tony Khan kind of stuck in that same boat where you have the EVPs like Matthew and Nicholas Jackson, you have, Jack Perry, you have Kenny Omega, you have, Mercedes Moné, who has her own creative writer. You have stuff like that where you're kind of like, like, although you ultimately like to kind of bag on this guy, this, Tony Khan of AEW, maybe you're kind of hinting at reasons for, maybe hinting at ways that maybe you don't walk into that same buzzsaw that ultimately that Eric Bischoff did in terms of WCW. But, him coming back to WWE, it's cool and all, but then he comes out and then he reminisces about the old days, and that's fine. That's cool. I don't mind Eric Bischoff. I never did. When he came back to Monday Night Raw as a general manager, I was kind of like, because I was a fan of WCW. I was a fan of WCW before, the crap hit the fan. And when Eric Bischoff came to Monday Night Raw to become that general manager, I kind of thought it was kind of like a black mark on his career. And, not like, obviously you go out there at the end of the day, you're like, you know what, it's a freaking job. I need to go out there. I need to make money. And it's something that I love doing within the professional wrestling industry. So, I get it. I level with you. But the way the way the whole thing, the Monday Night Wars happened, where he came out on a bike and he was talking crap to Vince McMahon, and where he was giving away WWF/WWE results on his show because it was pre-taped. And I don't know, it's a delicate situation, but ultimately, he was talking about revolutionizing the industry. I definitely did like that he gave NXT their flowers. I thought that was pretty badass. You saw Ridge Holland and Trick Williams break into a fight. Ridge Holland giving a DDT on top of the announce table, sending the NXT World Heavyweight Champion Trick Williams to the hospital. Nikita Lyons defeats Carmen Petrovic. Gigi Doling, in her return back to NXT, defeated Izzy Dame. X-Pac backstage says that he's a huge fan of Javon Evans, and that he has a real shot. We have the men's last man standing. We had Eddie Thorpe win. At the end of the show, we had Roxanne Perez, the NXT Women's Champion, addressing her challengers, Sol Ruka, Stephanie Vaquer, Julia, Zarya, and Ren Sinclair, obviously. And, just with all these amazing talents going at it, this definitely makes the NXT Women's World Championship more prestigious than ever. Eddie Thorpe is taken out backstage. You had, Lexis King back there, Cedric Alexander. You had basically everybody who competed in that match, Nathan Frazier. They were concerned. So who beat him up? My best bet is probably Obafemi. He finds a way into this Iron Survivor match, but obviously, it's still up in the air. All right, guys, so we do not go anywhere. We're going to talk on some All Elite Wrestling Dynamite talk when we come back. So grab your favorite snack, grab your favorite ice cold beverage. Join me here in about 12 seconds. So, hey, do not go anywhere.
Looking for your daily fix of sports talk without having to pay for it? GSMC Sports Network is available on YouTube. Just search GSMC Sports Network. Get your fix of daily sports talk shows on YouTube, absolutely free. NFL, college football, NBA, MLB, MMA, UFC, fantasy football, and so much more. GSMC Sports Network has shows running all day long, with new sports shows starting every 2 hours. Just like on your favorite cable sports channel, except GSMC Sports Network is absolutely free. Just search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube to catch one of your new favorite shows, like the GSMC College Football Podcast, Chip Shot Football Podcast, Hoops and Heels Women's Sports Podcast, GSMC Basketball Podcast, and so many more. Check it out for yourself. GSMC Sports Network, now available on YouTube absolutely free. Search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube right now.
All right, we are back with the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your favorite wrestling fan here, Eric Rodriguez, every Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Pacific Time, 11 p.m. Eastern Time. Sorry, excuse me, I have to burp. Here to talk about the greatest thing in the world, professional wrestling. We talk about all the action inside and outside the ring, backstage curtain calls, rumors, dramas, and updates. We talk about, promotions from WWE to AEW to TNA to Ring of Honor to the GCW to the NWA to New Japan Professional Wrestling to Stardom. If it makes major news in the world of professional wrestling, we talk about it here on this show, 1,010%. So make sure you guys tune in to talk about some good old-fashioned wrestling. All right, just kind of reflect on what we talked about real quick. We have some WWE Monday Night Raw. We reviewed that. We reviewed WWE NXT. We're going to talk about some AEW Dynamite. So let's go ahead and dig on into it. It's Wednesday. You know what that means. AEW Dynamite is live from the Fishers Event Center in Fishers, Indianapolis, Indiana. I think it's Indiana. Indiana, Indiana. I'm just going to make a random guess there. I'm not huge into the geography, But we have the Continental Classics continuing tonight. We got the Gold League. We got Brody King, which has 3 points, going up against Claudio Castagnoli, who has 3 points as well. I'm seeing, I want to see a build-up between, the House of Black taking on, Wheeler Yuta and the Death Raiders. This whole thing that Jon Moxley has going, it's brutal. It's pretty damn brutal. The way that they kind of ultimately singled out freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy after he lost to Jon Moxley recently at a pay-per-view event. And then, they had chemicals that they, shoved down his, they had it on his face, down his throat, and his eyes. It was just, it's, this thing that Jon Moxley's doing absolutely overshadowed so many storylines that, on AEW, you kind of had Nicholas Jackson to be like, you know what? We're going to drop the title Survivor Party and we're going to disappear for a little bit. That's that. You didn't see, the scapegoat Jack Perry, and you never saw Kazuchika Okada. Kind of, you had, Switchblade Jay White turn babyface. You saw the Undisputed Kingdom turn babyface. It's literally to the point where literally everybody against, the Death Riders. Everybody against Jon Moxley. It's cool. It's cool to kind of see unlikely alliances formed, but this definitely killed a lot, like the patriarchy, for example. Maybe MJF doesn't really give an F. He doesn't really care. The Don Callis family as well, still kind of in that heel ultimate role, but it should kind of come into fruition tonight, and I can't wait to see what's going on. So between Brody King, Claudio, I don't really see why Claudio does not pick up the victory tonight. I feel like he kind of creates that, he steamrolls Brody King. I feel like he steamrolls Brody King tonight. Obviously, it's going to be a good match. Definitely, one commercial match for a fact. And you're going to see Claudio pick up the victory, and I feel like he's going to get his, I pick him to win the whole thing. That's, I feel like he's going to win the whole thing. I feel like this is going to get him to 6 points. One gets him to 6 points. But, I don't know. Should be pretty badass. We also have the Blue League. We have Shelton Benjamin, who has 3 points, taking on Don Callis family's member, Kyle Fletcher, who has 3 points as well. What would be really interesting? And at this point, the way that the Hurt Syndicate has appeared on AEW programming, on, Dynamite, Rampage, or even Collision, it seems a bit stale. I'm not too sure if MVP wanted to kind of come in here and be like, you know what, we're going to be, heel. I don't really see them as heel. If they ended up fighting in the finals, Casanoli and Bobby Lashley going at it to the point where you're seeing, maybe Jon Moxley getting the best of a world challenger, contender. Maybe why not Swerve Strickland? Why not somewhere, down the line you have Swerve Strickland, getting beat up by the Death Riders or whatever, and then you see the Hurt Syndicate back him up. You see Bobby, you see Shelton, and then they need one more member. Ricochet, according to Wrestling Media, has been, open for joining the Hurt Syndicate because, without them, he's literally by himself. Although he does have his buddy from Will Ospreay, obviously, that he met during the wrestling independent circuits. But I feel like that'd be a nice little storyline. That'd be a nice little shift. Imagine if Bobby Lashley was portrayed as as the good guy, which I ultimately thought he was going to be. But, right now it's still, you don't hate him, you don't love him. But, I don't know, I feel like at the end of the Continental Classic, it should kind of come into fruition here. All right, Anna Jay takes on Penelope Ford. Anna Jay looking to get back on track after losing to Mariah May. She had a shot, did not really capitalize on it. Does she find herself? I would love to see her back into the title contention. Not really Mariah May, and I know Mercedes Moné is untouchable right now because, her and Tony Khan are absolutely best freaking friends. I'm just kidding. No, I'm not trying to spread any kind of rumors like that on this show, guys. I'm just not going to. I'm just not going to do it. But, ultimately I feel like Anna Jay, she's due for a nice, bounce back win. Swerve Strickland takes on Matt Caster of the Acclaimed. I feel like I want to see Swerve get back to where he was, and I'm a huge fan of Swerve. When I started watching AEW, then when you saw Swerve Strickland come from WWE, and the way he's been so successful, the way he's been so dominant, and like the way he's been losing matches, I'm like, for me, he lost to Bobby Lashley, and everybody knew it was going to happen. Everybody knew he was going to lose. But the way he lost, I feel like he kind of leaves his integrity intact. So this is a great way for Swerve Strickland to kind of ultimately get a bounce back. We have Switchblade Jay White taking on the Bastard Pack. Once again, building up that storyline between, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. You have, the Switchblade Jay White of the Bang Bang Gang. Someone who's, never really been seen in the light as a good guy. And Pac for the longest time was seen as a good guy. And then when he joined the Blackpool Combat Club, everybody was like, oh my God, that's so cool. But of course, at that time, you had Bryan Danielson. And then of course, all know what happened to him at the end of, how that went down. But, it'd be kind of, this match is going to be a great match. You have two very athletic specimens are going to be jumping off the top rope. They're going to be jumping out to the outside of the ring. These guys are going to be executing amazing wrestling moves. So this definitely has a potential for being like a sleeper match of the night. So I can't wait to see it. We have the Dynamite Dozen Battle Royal to see who challenges for MJF's Dynamite ring, which is I never really knew they had a Dynamite ring. Like that's crazy. That's crazy. So far, we have Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, Brian Cage, Lance Archer. We have, obviously it's a dozen, so we have another handful of, superstars that are, have not yet been announced. But let's all be real. It's going to be Adam Cole. It has to be Adam Cole. It has to be Adam Cole. And if it's Kyle O'Reilly, I can see how that plays into the storyline a little bit. Like, I get it. But, the build-up between MJF and Adam Cole, heading up to the last pay-per-view, I thought that they were going to fight each other. And that never happened. It didn't happen. You had him lose to Konosuke Takeshita, and then you had Roderick Strong defeat Lance Archer in a Falls Count Anywhere match. So then you had, MJF taking on Roderick Strong, which you knew MJF was going to pick up the victory. So now it's kind of more or less, kind of building around the storyline, a little personal. Kyle O'Reilly hated how Roderick Strong, Roddy, stuck up for Adam Cole, saying that, hey man, leave your friends out of this. It's between you and Maxwell Jacob Friedman. But, Adam Cole, he's, it's not like he was begging for Roderick Strong to go out there and kind of defend his honor, anything like that. So we're going to find out, who decides to take on MJF. My best bet is on Adam Cole. Rampage. AEW Rampage is going to be taped tonight. We have a Gold League match between Ricochet with 0 points and Commander with 0 points. We have the Blue League with the TNT champion Daniel Garcia with 1 point, taking on the Beast Mortos who have 0 point. And also the Blue League will continue with the Continental, with the AEW Continental Champion Kazuchika Okada taking on the former Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Champion Mark Briscoe. All happening tonight on an amazing episode of AEW Dynamite. So make sure you guys tune in tonight to TBS? TBS. I think it's TBS. And get ready for an awesome show. All right, guys, so we do not go anywhere. We're going to talk about our next segment. We got Drew McIntyre returning to the WWE. We're going to talk about potential storylines. We're going to talk about why exactly, as of now, WWE decided to pull the trigger with McIntyre coming back. Grab your favorite snack, grab your favorite ice cold beverage, and get ready for the hottest, the best wrestling show in the biz. So, do not go anywhere.
For the best and latest podcasts available anywhere, go to the podcast app on your cell phone and type in GSMC to access free content-rich podcasts on health and wellness, book reviews, sports, entertainment, relationships, social media, movies, technology, finance, and even weird news. Subscribe and download the GSMC Podcast Network's family of shows, available everywhere podcasts are found. Alright, we are back.
back with the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your favorite wrestling fan here, Eric Rodriguez, here to talk about professional wrestling. I'll talk about all the action inside and outside of the ring, backstage curtain calls, rumor dramas, and updates. We talk about superstar inactive statuses. Also, we talk about injury updates. We also talk about new signings, contract negotiations, and extensions. We talk about promotions from WWE to TNA to Ring of Honor to AEW. If it makes major news in the world of professional wrestling, we talk about it here on this show. So make sure you guys, like, subscribe, follow the show so you guys can get some notifications whenever we decide to go live. All right, so let's go ahead and jump on into some Drew McIntyre. But of course, before we do any of that, make sure you guys hit up that super chat button right there. It's going to be absolutely lit. Don't ever think it's not going to be anything otherwise. And don't be shy. Do not be shy. Never be shy. And we can have a nice freaking time. So recently on WWE Monday Night RAW, you saw Drew McIntyre come back into the fray of WWE, shocking fans, leaving them in shockwaves. No one was expecting the Irish psychopath, the Scottish Warrior, to come back, especially so close to the end of the year. Drew McIntyre was actually supposed to be absent until the end of the year. He had the attack on Sami Zayn. This guy, Drew McIntyre is really kind of the nowadays Randy Orton. He's not a bad guy. He's not a bad guy. He's not a good guy. But, he's going to go out. He's going to manipulate, social media, which he does very, very well. You've obviously seen that with his feud with CM Punk and the Best in the World. Drew McIntyre is going to go out and do whatever Drew McIntyre wants to do. And either it's going to make him, into a name. I ultimately feel like he will end up into the WWE World Heavyweights title picture once again. At this point, it makes no sense for him not to be champion. It really doesn't. And I never, ever really want to call anybody like a bridge champion. Obviously, when I called Damian Priest a bridge champion, I felt super bad about it. And now you have Gunther holding the championship, and, Gunther's Gunther. Not that he would ever be considered a bridge champion. But, now you kind of have this guy. You've seen Gunther in this, he's in this conflict of character where, can he really do this? And imagine if Gunther took on somebody like Drew McIntyre right now. Drew McIntyre would absolutely dethrone, dehumanize, and beat the crap out of Gunther in his current state. And, be the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. And he was the World Heavyweight Champion, obviously. You see he had the cash in with Damian Priest, Poetic Justice, yada, yada, yada. And, I don't want to see him and Punk go back at it again. I feel like Punk will ultimately, I feel like he's going to take his spot on WWE SmackDown. With this whole bloodline storyline thing going down with Paul Heyman, because there would be really no use for them. I thought Drew McIntyre was going to come back on SmackDown. I got to be brutally honest. I thought, he was done with a lot of what the Raw roster ultimately would, offer him. So I was like, it makes sense. Like, maybe he comes back. Maybe he sides with Kevin Owens. Maybe he takes on, the WWE champion Cody Rhodes. There was a lot of, potential opportunities for Drew McIntyre to kind of steer his career into a whole different pace. But now, after what happened on, WWE Monday Night Raw, it's clear that he wants to hurt the bloodline. He wants to hurt. It's, obviously nobody knew who attacked Jey Uso, but the number one culprit right now, obviously allegations and stuff like that. The number one culprit is Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre never liked Jey Uso. Even when Jey Uso jumped back into, when he was doing the whole yeet thing, he was telling fans, he was like, really? You're going to forget what this guy did with the bloody bloodline, costing me the championship at Clash at the Castle. This guy never, ever, ever forgets. And this is going to be something that plays into his personality. This is going to be something that plays into his character. And it's going to be something that fans really can't really complain about or really kind of hold anything against him. Because you're like, all right, you kind of have Drew McIntyre feuding against people like Jey Uso. And you're like, oh no, Jey Uso, yeet this, yeet that. Like, reality, he screwed him over. Drew McIntyre was supposed to be a champion. He was literally 1, 2, 3 away from becoming the WWE champion from Roman Reigns. He was going to dethrone him. He was going to beat him. But then family. Then family happens. And then you have Drew McIntyre, upset with Sami Zayn for, and the whole Sami Zayn thing is a little, kind of askew or anything like that. During the whole bloodline thing, during the whole Civil War, last Survivor Series War Games, he was on a team with Seth Rollins, and Drew McIntyre chose to, be on the other team just to kind of get his hands on the people of the bloodline. And lo and behold, CM Punk comes in and he, starts a feud. As even Seth Rollins hated, everybody hated each other at that point. It pissed Drew McIntyre off. Drew McIntyre literally is in a position where, he's kind of like Kevin Owens. And you've seen these three guys, you've seen these three beloved characters kind of go through a character change where it's not really like, okay, they're jumping from face to babyface, because they were never like fully a babyface, but then again, they were never really fully like a heel. You can have Seth Rollins, you can have Drew McIntyre, you can have somebody like Kevin Owens attack people like Cody Rhodes and be like, you know what? At the end of the day, they kind of have their own, personal initiatives. And that's something I feel like WWE they should have been doing it a long time ago. Of course have your baby faces. Of course have your, superheroes or whatever you like to call them. Super heels. Sorry, excuse me. And just kind of have those guys that are like, you know what? The fans are going to root for them if they want to. The fans are not if, they're not going to give a damn about them if you're not like forcing them down somebody's throat. And WWE has had such a bad reputation of forcing people down their throats to be like, you know what? I don't want anything to do with it. If Drew McIntyre would have came back as a total, completely changed man, I feel like him attacking Sami Zayn was the only way for him to come back. And, Sami's obviously Drew McIntyre. Like I mentioned before, we can see an anti-bloodline faction kind of form. You can see, Seth Rollins as like a new Shield with Kevin Owens, with Drew McIntyre. You can have all these potential like different storylines that Drew McIntyre could fit. And he fits so well in them because literally he's the guy you love to hate and he's the guy you love to love. If this guy, becomes a complete POS, and you'll hate him for a year, and then in a year and a half, he has a redemption story, and he comes back, and by, 2 years as of today, Drew McIntyre will be a WWE champion. Drew McIntyre will be absolutely loved by the wrestling universe once again. He does it so damn well. He does it so damn well. He could be such a great heel. He could be such a great face, and it's, it's kind of cool. Drew McIntyre has been away from WWE for about 2 months. Bronson Reed's injury has been reported, and it has influenced Drew McIntyre's sooner rather than later return. Last time we saw McIntyre, he was in a brutal Hell in a Cell match at WWE Bad Blood where he took 16 staples at the hands of CM Punk. And like I said, he has problems with the bloodline. And, he's, even Triple H Paul Levesque said he was dying to come back. He wasn't hurt. He was not injured. There's a lot to unfold here. Drew McIntyre took to social media. He took to Instagram and he said 4 words: "What have I become?" WWE is clearly giving Drew McIntyre a shot at becoming the face of WWE once again. And that's something that a lot of fans might kind of, fail to wrap their hands around because, think about it. We got WWE Monday Night Raw coming to a big streaming conglomerate like Netflix. They want John Cena. They want Roman Reigns. They want Cody Rhodes. They want The Rock. And nobody's ever going to expect somebody like the Scottish Warrior Drew McIntyre to kind of, implement and solidify his name as a potential WWE champion. And, there's so much storylines happening right now, causing people to think that WWE putting the strap on Cody Rhodes right now seems like it was the bad move. Because like if you think about it, you're like, okay, you have so many people coming after Roman Reigns. Imagine if Roman had the belt. Imagine if Roman had the title. There would be so many different storylines you can keep toward WrestleMania. Right now, you're kind of like, you know what? Cody Rhodes taking on Kevin Owens at WWE Saturday night's main event exclusively on NBC, streaming simultaneously on Peacock. If Kevin Owens loses, I feel like that's a big problem. I gotta be honest. It's to the point where the Kevin Owens character right now is in such a fragile state that if he loses to Cody Rhodes, this could be the end of Kevin Owens. This could, he hasn't signed with WWE yet. No reports have been said. It's been said that, WWE gave him an offer. He declined it. He was hoping that AEW would match it. AEW failed to match a deal for Kevin Owens. And, Owens was like, I don't want to take that either. So is he willing to go back into free agency? I doubt it. Which kind of ultimately makes me think that, the reason why they turned him heel was for like future aspirations for him to maybe eventually be a title holder. And when I say title holder, I'm not necessarily talking about the WWE Championship. I'm not talking about the World Heavyweight Championship. Faltering down, and I'm not saying down to like it's a bad thing. Like maybe he's like an Intercontinental Champion, or maybe he's a United States Champion. Who knows? It could happen. But, it's to the point where it's like, all right, once Cody Rhodes defeats Kevin Owens, what's next? Like, literally, dude, what's next? What can you do with Kevin Owens? What can you do with Cody Rhodes? And this is something that, especially, Netflix. Especially with Netflix, accumulating WWE, they have a 10-year deal. After 5 years, they have a decision to opt in or opt out for 5 more years. That would basically be the home of, WWE's flagship show, Monday Night Raw. So having somebody like Drew McIntyre on your roster, it's good. And WWE, obviously, with this Drew McIntyre character, needs to, kind of handle, kind of need to tread lightly a little here. But ultimately, I'm looking forward to WWE with the Scottish Psychopath backstage causing ruckus. I can't wait to see. I think it's going to be great. All right, guys, so we do not go anywhere. We're going to jump on into our 5th and final segment. I got some potential free agents, some wrestling stars to be signed by WWE heading into the Netflix era. So, hey, do not go anywhere. Alright, we're back with the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your favorite wrestling fan here, Eric Rodriguez, every Monday through Friday, here to talk about professional wrestling. Make sure you guys, Google, make sure you guys, hit that like and subscribe button so you guys can get some notifications whenever we decide to go, whenever we decide to go live. So you guys can, hit up some of that, super chat. Give me some of that, give me some of that wrestling knowledge that you guys love. We'd love to hear from you guys. All right, so what we recently talked about, we had a WWE Monday Night Raw review. We talked about WWE NXT. We talked about some AEW Dynamite talk. And then we talked about Drew McIntyre returning to WWE, some potential storylines, bookings, what WWE ultimately has to do to protect this character that is the Scottish Psychopath. And, what it means for, basically everybody on the roster who it affects. Like Jimmy, well, not really Jimmy, like Jey Uso. The Bloodline, Roman Reigns, Seth freaking Rollins, even CM Punk, although they recently had a pretty hellacious feud. that ended at WWE Bad Blood. But, it's still up in the air. Sorry, excuse me. All right, now we're going to talk about some potential signings by WWE that they're hoping to get done before, the Netflix signings. So let's go ahead and dig on into it. At first, we have Rey Fenix. Rey Fenix has been, on the frail of, he's been on the fringe of, signing from WWE to, from AEW to WWE. And it's, I don't know, for me, it's, I thought he signed a long time ago. I even think I did a segment where I did the breaking news and I was like, oh, he signed with WWE. A lot of luchadors in WWE, I got to be honest, they don't get a lot of love. Look at what's happening with the LWO. Look at what's happening with Legado del Fantasma. The history of WWE not booking, Latino wrestlers, not really the strong suit. And, WWE becoming recently more international, I feel like that will change. I feel like WWE will kind of adopt, will kind of adopt a lot of styles that AEW has had. And when I say that, it would be, you've seen a mid-card title for the women's finally. I mean, finally introduced. Finally, years and decades and so many, it's finally we have a WWE Women's United States, a WWE Women's Intercontinental Championship. That should have been done a long time ago, damn. And then we have the WWE Speed Championship, which is kind of like the Cruiserweight Championship. It's on every Wednesday, on their on WWE's X account. So make sure you guys stay tuned. Hit that like and subscribe button so you guys can get some notifications whenever you guys want to watch a 3-minute match. I'm just kidding, no. But just bring back a 205 Live. Bring back the Cruiserweight division. I feel like we will start seeing a trios championship being defended. I would love to see a trios championship being defended because, like I said, you do have factions like Legado del Fantasma, like the LWO, you could possibly maybe add another member to the Street Profits because literally WWE's not doing crap with the Street Profits. Why not add another member and be like, okay, here you guys go. Or, you could have somebody like the New Day, where they could have 3 members and, they could achieve greatness that way. There's so many different potential storylines with different titles being implemented within the system of the professional wrestling spectrum on any given promotion. So this could definitely be good for WWE. But right now, Rey Fenix, I wouldn't really see Rey Fenix as anything more than a Dragon Lee. All right, next we have the next superstar. We have Penta El de Miedo. Sorry, excuse me. Penta El Zero Miedo, which I think it says is we fear no death. I could see this guy, much like you see Rey Fenix, and it's kind of a damn shame because, whenever you see a lot of, luchadors or, Latino wrestlers kind of come across WWE, it never really comes into fruition where these guys can literally, they're being pushed to their immediate potential. Usually they kind of have a spot for them. They're like, oh, they're going to, we have a kick-ass tag team for you guys to ultimately kind of, center yourself to center your hopes and dreams around. And hey, yeah, guess what? You got to sign with WWE for maybe a limited amount of money, a small contract. But, obviously after you sign the contract, you can't go with the, AEW Ring of Honor or, CMLL or New Japan Professional Wrestling. Tony Khan's recent, partnership, I gotta be honest, although as much as I would love to see these guys come to WWE, I feel like there'd be no point. I feel like there'd be no point because there's no freedom. There's no freedom. Especially on what are you going to do? Do another version of the LWO on NXT? Yeah, that'll be cool for a month or 3 or maybe even 6 if we're lucky. But after that, they're just going to kind of succumb into the storylines that they don't get pushed. They don't get pushed. They never really have. They never really done. WWE's reputation, they never really pushed Latin American wrestlers. And and like I said, it sucks because these guys are very talented individuals. Becky Lynch is still considered a free agent. Recently, she represented WWE on an event. And, she's not going to leave WWE. She never will. Why not? WWE has taken care of the man, Becky Lynch, for so damn long. They recently signed Seth Rollins to a contract, so there'd be no reason that the man, Becky Lynch, signs anywhere else but WWE. She's special. She's special. But then again, like, if she does hold out, she could, by all means, get a bigger contract than Mercedes Moné. Tony Khan. If Tony Khan signed somebody like Becky Lynch, damn, that would be a game changer. And I love saying that. I absolutely love saying that because it's how far the women's division in professional wrestling has come. Where you're like, you know what, if Becky Lynch signed somewhere, oh my God, fans will follow. Fans will follow. I would follow. I watch myself some AEW, but imagine if Becky Lynch comes out to challenge Mariah May for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. That'd be so crazy. That would be insane. That'd be super cool. Or challenges Mercedes Moné for the TBS Championship. But as of right now, I don't really see her leaving WWE. All right, we got Miro. Formerly known as Rusev. It's Rusev Day. I can see Rusev back in WWE. Right now he's not yet been let out of his AEW contract. But in WWE, I feel like right now you can make Rusev into something. You can definitely with international wrestling becoming more mainstream on the wrestling spectrum. Imagine, Rusev comes back. That'd be pretty cool. That'd be good for his career. He was a great, talented superstar. I definitely, when he was doing his little goofy thing with, with his, I forgot his name. Damn it. He was like some bald guy with a comb over. I forgot his name. Damn it. I can't think of it. But he was good. He was decent. He wasn't bad. And I can see Miro coming back to the WWE. Zila Fatu is literally one more step away from signing with WWE. If not, he's already in contracts. He's wrestling in a Booker T wrestling promotion right now, winning championship belts. This guy's going to make his way in WWE. This guy's going to be a star. The son of Umaga is going to represent his father with nothing but the utmost respect, and this guy's going to be amazing. I can't wait for this guy to step foot onto WWE soil because he deserves it. This is his home. This is something that his father always loved competing in. Whether if it was him from the 3-minute warning from Eric Bischoff, when he was with, the Hurricane, his dad, with the, he belongs in WWE. Him coming to the Bloodline, I can see how him kind of coming back to the Bloodline, kind of being that alter ego that is Jey Uso, going at it. That would be so lit. Because if you think about it, maybe Jay and him can kind of, they have conflicting ideologies. They have conflicting personalities. And it'd be I don't know if anybody in them, this might be a huge, huge, huge push. If anybody watched the Sonic movie where you kind of had Sonic coming out and then you had, what was his name, Knuckles come out and you're like, oh my God, it's crazy. They're complete opposites, but then again, they're the same way. But then they come together, which makes them into a more dominant team. Both of them are good guys. They never really had this basis of understanding until it was kind of put out there to the earth. And then lo and behold, it just creates some magical potion for these two amazing superstars to come out of it. Obviously, like I said, this is a huge, push. Obviously comparing wrestlers to Sonic characters, not really, the cup of tea out here. But, Zila Fatu literally on his way to WWE. Jordynne Grace has dabbled herself into WWE, especially when this NXT and TNA partnership and collaboration has recently kind of hit a standstill. You kind of haven't had any superstars kind of jump on into, kind of crossovers for a little bit here, kind of had a, kind of like I said, kind of having a standstill. But Jordynne Grace, she was featured in the Royal Rumble. She's been featured on NXT. NXT loves Jordynne Grace. And Jordynne Grace with Zarya, with Stephanie Vaquer, with Julia. Oh my God, he's such a powerhouse women's division. And it's to the point where Roxanne Perez would be like, you know what? Shoot, man. I the best thing for me to probably do is to leave the Raw or SmackDown. But no, I'm just kidding. The Prodigy, what she does in the ring is really, really good. And her promos Roxanne Perez is special. Roxanne Perez is special in the way she represents the NXT World Women's Championship. Like I kind of mentioned when we were talking about the review of NXT in my second segment, she's literally made the NXT Women's Championship the hottest ticket in women's wrestling. Literally, she has. You have, international stars like Stephanie Vaquer, Julia, Zarya, and then you have Jordynne Grace, somebody like strong, the Juggernaut. She literally made that title so prestigious. Like, it's literally, it's untouchable. Like, I don't want to, compare it to, boxing, where you had Mike Tyson and Oscar De La Hoya, where you had people, fighting from all over the world for this one prestigious prize. And this is just NXT. This was, this is not now, but this is a small developed program from WWE. That came in, now they're their own entity on the CW, and now you kind of have international wrestling stars coming from all over the place. Literally, this has never happened in WWE before. Literally, this has never happened to any WWE champion, and right now it's happening to the NXT World Women's Champion, Roxanne Perez. So throwing my flowers, absolutely saluting you. You are killing it. You're doing great, and it's something that's going to be promising. It's going to be great. All these women are absolutely amazing. The NXT Women's Division is truly gifted. Obviously, like I said, throwing flowers, absolutely super excited. All right, we have Ricky Starks. Ricky Starks could find himself into WWE. We'd love to see him. I would love to see him NXT starting off first, maybe heading toward the Intercontinental Championship. Speedball Mike Bailey, his TNA contract is expired. He's recently been seen backstage at an AEW event, so it's obviously still up in the air, but it should be a good one. Josh Alexander from TNA, like I said, TNA and WWE NXT has recently had this collaboration and this kind of have this these crossovers and stuff like that, and it's been rumored that he's actually in talks and joining the WWE Royal Rumble. That'd be great. I often compared this guy to, Kurt Angle, and with the strength of Ryback, if Ryback and Kurt Angle had a baby, it would be Josh Alexander. And he, I'm not saying that in a bad way, not saying that's not trying to joke around, but this guy's literally that damn freaking gifted. If this guy wins the Royal Rumble, right now you kind of look around, besides CM Punk, there's really nobody else that you would honestly love to see win the Royal Rumble. Of course, Jey Uso, is kind of floating around there. I feel like in the men's Royal Rumble and even in the women's Royal Rumble, I feel like this is going to be the most unpredictable Royal Rumble of all time, especially with this whole thing with CM Punk stating, on Monday Night Raw, he did state that, if Royal Rumble doesn't work out or Elimination Chamber doesn't work out, I have a couple of favors I can call. I feel like they ultimately kind of left the door open to be like, you know what, I'm not going to win the Royal Rumble. Which is cool. For me as a wrestling fan, as WWE fan, I like it. Because, I was heading into Royal Rumble being like, oh shit, oh crap. CM Punk's going to win and then he's going to challenge for the World Heavyweight Championship, this and that and the other, and then that's that. But right now, kind of having that unpredictability factor in terms of professional wrestling always makes it awesome. All right, guys. So, hey, that was my wrestling show. Hope you guys like it. Like I said, Superman punch it, like and subscribe button to the show so you guys get notifications whenever I decide to go live. Thank you so much for tuning in to the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast. Follow us on Twitter /X, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, and Facebook for more content and updates. And like I always say, if I have not made you a wrestling fan by now, we have a whole bunch of other awesome podcasts you guys should definitely check out. Saturday, dedicated to college football. Tune in to Tommy's GSMC College Football Podcast to get all the tea there. We have the NFL heating up. We only got 4 more weeks. It's gone. It's came. It's passed so damn fast. Find out all the breaking news, all the know-how for your favorite NFL team on the GSMC Football Podcast with my boy Kenneth, on the Chip Shot Football Podcast with my boy Manny, and of course, in terms of football, comes fantasy sports. Find out how to make your team as prestigious as the Women's Survivor Series team, make them into WWE champions. Make your team into a WWE champion. Make sure you guys watch Chris Shepard's GSMC Fantasy Sports Podcast. Find out your stardoms and your situms, who to pick up off the waiver wire. Like I said, we are only 4 weeks away, so make sure you guys tune in. We have All Around Sports with my boy Nelson with the GSMC Sports Podcast. We have Sports by GSMC with Jeremy. We have all these amazing sports podcasts you guys should always check out. Make sure you stay tuned for Emran's Dead Ball podcast starting in about 10 minutes. Make sure you guys, like and subscribe to his show. His show is definitely one of the hottest sports shows in the business right now, growing in popularity like absolutely nuts. Make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button to the show. All right, like I said, stay beautiful. Hope you guys had an amazing week. Can't wait to see you guys. Have an amazing Thursday. And let's seize the moment. It's the holiday season. One episode I'm just going to do some Christmas carols. Hope you guys like it. If you don't, then y'all could kiss my... I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding. Can't wait to see you guys on our next show. Stay beautiful, but most importantly, love you.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet.